Hi everybody, this is Lawrence with the Asia's Duelist Academy. Joining me today we have Zach from the Goat Guys.
What's going on, everybody?
And today we have another video in the make Goat format boss monsters into current metagame decks. Name is subject to change every time. And today we have, in theory, the best boss monster in Goat format, BLS himself. And this is a deck given to me by Zach to represent what basically Chaos BLS can do. So, take it away, Zach.
All right, so basically what you're looking at here is just a standard Thunder Dragon Chaos deck using a bunch of flip monsters. So essentially you're just trying to win the game with BLS and Chaos Orc. So we'll just get into the card by card. So you have of course, your one BLS. BLS was limited in GOAT format, so you can't play more than one. You have 3 Chaos Orc. It's just mini BLS. It banishes a face-up monster on the field. You have Mystic Tomato. This fuels your dark part of the deck because you need to get lights and darks in the graveyard. 3 Thunder Dragon. This card is a light engine and a discard piece for Graceful Charity and Raigeki Break, which we'll talk about later. You play Double Takoichi because this is a draw engine. Please remember Nobleman of Crossout is a card, so that's why you're not seeing any 3 of on the flips. Double Gravekeeper Spy. Gravekeeper Spy is actually pretty strong in GOAT since a lot of monsters don't immediately hit over 2,000. So it gets you another body and it's a dark. Next is Magician of Faith. This is a light that lets you recycle any spell, so it's already immediately powerful. So then we have Night Assailant. Night Assailant is a flip that, when it's flipped, destroys a card on the field. And if this card is sent from your hand to the graveyard, you can recycle your flip monsters. This is a very good card. So now you have Breaker. Breaker just breaks the back row. He's a dark. Sangan searches like half the deck. Tribe and Serpent. If you pair together, Tribe is spot removal for whatever you need it to be. And then Sinister Serpent is obviously just a constant recycle and discard fodder. So you have what most people would call the Trinity of Pot of Greed, Graceful Charity, and Delinquent Duo. Then you have Heavy Storm and MST as backer removal. Keep in mind, Heavy Storm and MST are limited at the time. Then you have the Double Nobleman of Crossout. This is what how you outflip monsters. You have 2 Book of Moon. This is a versatile card as it gets around Ring, Mirror Force, so you can use it offensively or defensively. Card Destruction because you are playing a lot of cards that just kind of get stuck in your hand. Premature Burial reborns things, and then Snatch Steal steals your opponent's shit. So you have 2 Raigeki Breaks. This is just spot removal. Lets you discard a card and pop card on the field. Then you have just more of your stapleistic cards. You have Mirror Force, Torrential, Call the Haunted, Ring, and then Dust Tornado.
Mm-hmm. So that's what a BLS style deck would look like back in GOAT. Here's the shenanigans and funny business that I have created with Modern. This one I had harder time than with Jinzo because it's interesting. So BLS is currently at 3, so let's play 3 of the OG. There we go. Then you play I only play one of the other like big BLSs, Envoy of Evening Twilight and Sacred Soldier. Sacred Soldier only because he has no way to special summon himself other than the trap card Super Soldier Rebirth. Both are extremely situational, but those are options. If I were to rebuild the deck to make it more competitive, I would definitely get rid of this and those 2 and add some other stuff. But anyways, what he does, when it's normal or special summon, you target one of your banished light or dark monsters and one card your opponent controls. Return the banished card to the graveyard, then you banish the card you just targeted from your opponent's side. You can only use each effect of this once per turn, and then when this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, target a level 7 or lower Morio monster in the graveyard and add it to your hand. And then Envoy of Evening Twilight, you either must be special by either banishing all light monsters in the graveyard or banishing all darks. And while you have an equal number of each in your graveyard. So again, this one's another situational, and if I were to fix this more, I would easily get rid of those. Anyways, he also counts as a light attribute while he's on the field, so he is both light and dark. When this card is special summoned, you activate each effect. You activate the appropriate effect based on the attribute of monster banished for the special summon, and you can also cannot connect battle phase during the turn. You activate that, which if you did all lights, you target one monster on the field, you banish it, and if you did darks, random card out of your opponent's hand, banished until the opponent's end phase. Next we have, which I don't know why I wasn't in order. We have 3 of both of the BLS guys. This one you can normal summon this without tributing, but its attack becomes 19. And if this card is tributed, you add a BLS monster from your deck to your hand. So it has, like I said, it has potential. So you can tribute it for your Super Soldiers. Super Soldiers, and then your Super Soldier Soul. It's usually what you would use for both of those. And then for Artisan Guide of Fierce Knight, if your opponent controls more monsters than you, you normal summon this without tributing. And if this is tributed, you special summon a BLS from hand or graveyard, which not bad. And you can only use this effect once per turn. And if you're ritual summoning a blacklist BLS monster using this, you can use this from the graveyard. Just not bad. Next, you have Envoy of Chaos, which is basically a hand trap. I enjoy this. This one is very interesting. During the battle phase, you discard this card and target a BLS monster or Guide of Fierce Knight monster. It gains 1500 until the end of the turn, and if it does, every monster that battles at this turn. Oh, can't read. Has its attack become that monster's original attack during damage calculation only. And once per turn during the end phase, if this card is in your graveyard, you banish a light and a dark and add it to your hand. But you can't, except for him, you can't banish himself. Next, you have the 2 best cards of the actual deck that makes the deck run. You have Beginning Night and Evening Twilight Night. They both have the same effect. When you use this as when a BLS monster ritual summon using this card, it gains the following effects. You can only use it once per turn. They both have their first one that it gains is once per turn. You can target one monster your opponent controls, banish it. Basically, if you use both of these to ritual summon this thing, you can banish 2 monsters. Yay. This one, when this destroys an opponent's monster by battle and send it to the graveyard, you can make a second attack. This one, you banish a random card. You can banish a random card from your opponent's hand face down till the end of till their end phase. So it makes it a lot of fun. Also, Beginning Night, if this card is banished from the graveyard, you add a ritual spell card from your deck to your hand. And then Evening Twilight Light, you add a ritual monster when it's banished. Next, you have Super Soul, which is basically the search for Beginning and Evening Twilight. And you what it does is you can send one BLS monster from your hand to the graveyard until your opponent's end phase. This becomes 3000 attack, and it becomes BLS while on the field. And then you can banish this card from your graveyard and then add a Beginning Night or Evening Twilight Light from your deck to your hand, which is what you're doing the most. Then you have the boss monster of this deck, is what I get it around, is Bls Super Soldier. You can ritual summon this with Super Soldier Ritual. Most of the time you are doing Super Soldier Synthesis because it's a little bit better and easier. Anywho, if this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you inflict damage to your opponent equal to its attack in the graveyard. So its original attack. And if this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, or if this card in your possession is destroyed by your opponent's card effect, you can special summon one Guide of Fierce Knight from your hand, deck, or graveyard This is why we play both of these. And you can only use each effect once per turn. And you can only special summon him. Actually, no. You can only special summon him once per turn. That's what it was. Next, you have Foolish Burial to get potentially to get lights and darks or the ritual into the graveyard due to the effects of Super Soldier Synthesis. You can ritual summon a BLS ritual monster from your hand or graveyard. And you must also send one light and one dark, one from the hand, one from your deck, to the graveyard. But the levels have to equal exactly 8. So if you open any one of these two, a Foolish Burial and a Super Soldier Synthesis, you basically have this guy on the field with a lot of fun stuff. Then I play an in for Super Soldier Ritual, which is the original. You can use this to ritual summon any BLS ritual monster. You must tribute monsters from your hand or field whose level exactly equal 8. During the main phase, except the turn this is sent to the graveyard, you can banish a light and dark monster and special summon one BLS ritual monster from your hand, ignoring its summoning conditions. That way you can get two. You can potentially get 2 of these out, not during the same turn, but you get my drift. Then you play a Gateway to Chaos, which literally when this is activated, you add a BLS ritual monster to your hand. And each time a monster is sent from the hand or field to the graveyard, you put a spell counter on this card, maximum of 6. And then when you remove 3 of them, you can add a ritual spell card from your deck to your hand. It's not bad. You don't really use this a lot to get to your rituals. You just use this because a nice little Omni Negate, a little counter trap for the deck deals with spell counters, which I'll get in a moment. Next, you play Super Soldier Rebirth, which you just target a BLS you control and send it to the graveyard. Especially summon a BLS monster with a different name from your hand, ignoring its summoning conditions. Again, that's how you get Sacred Soldier out. And during your main phase, after turn is sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from the graveyard and target a BLS monster in your graveyard, and you add it to your hand. Next, you get to the counter trap of the deck. When a spell or trap card or monster effect activates, it targets a monster or monsters on the field. While you control a BLS monster, negate the activation. If you do, destroy that card. And this is why spell counters were important. If this card is in your graveyard, you can move one spell counter from your side of the field and set this card, but you banish it when it leaves the field. So, Zach, what are your thoughts on the deck?
It's definitely an interesting concept. I like the multi-attribute style of some of the cards. I think that's really cool. In a real tournament, do I think this is going to work? No. But if we're just playing casually online with friends or whatever, I think this can do a bunch of fun things.
This one is probably I will have to do a bit more work on it to make it more better. This one was harder to make than Jinzo because it's difficult. Jinzo was more like it has an end goal that's fun and trolly. This one's it had the option of multiples. But I think for just BLS cards with extra spells into it, not bad, but I know I can do better. I will probably upload a video that is a better version of this deck in the future once I get a better grasp on how the deck will function. But yeah, I'd like to thank Zach for joining me for this probably weirdest deck list he's ever seen from me.
Honestly, no, it's not.
Fair, I had some really weird ones in the past.
Yeah, this didn't surprise me at all.
Alright, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Peace.